Welcome to Issues of the Day, where we discuss key issues in the news. I am Usman Abdulkadir Taleeki. Joining me today are Mr. Saheed Ayegboka and Talub Amole.
Thank you for having me.
Our headlines. President Tinubu approves expansion of the Nigerian Army from 8 to 12 divisions and recruitment of 28,000 additional personnel. Amina J. Mohammed for UN Secretary General. Will Nigeria put her forward to make history? Our first major story. President Tinubu approves expansion of Nigerian Army to 12 divisions. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the expansion of the Nigerian Army from 8 to 12 divisions, alongside the recruitment of 28,000 additional personnel to strengthen Nigerian security architecture and improve military operations. 4 new divisions will be established in Makurdi, Ilorin, Jalingo, and Benin City. The presidency says the expansion will improve command and control, strengthen border security, protect critical infrastructure, and enable faster response to emerging security threats. The implementation will be carried out in 2 phases, with the first expected to be completed by the September 2026 and the second by December 2026. Mr. Saheed Ayegboka, let's start with this. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the expansion of Nigerian Army divisions from 8 to 12 divisions. What does this decision means to Nigerian security?
Thank you very much. It means we are taking insecurity seriously, because for a lot of time, what we've been doing is majorly reactive. We've not been proactive in solving this problem. Nigeria is a country, according to Google estimation, about 242 million people, and currently our army, our naval, our air force in total, we have about just 230,000 of them, all our soldiers combined. And currently, we also have our army taking a chunk of it to be about 160,000 out of the 230,000. So if Nigeria now is employing close to about 30,000, 28,000 specifically, that means our army will move from 160,000 to 186,000 in just a year. So that shows to us that we are becoming serious and we are no longer treating symptoms. We want to go to the root cause of this problem. We had 8 divisions before, now expanding them to 12 divisions. For example, there will be a division in Ibadan, Oyo State, that is going to cater to the needs of Oyo State, cater to the needs of people in Osun, Ondo, Ekiti. So that takes care of those ones. For example, the one in Ilorin is also going to cater to the needs of some of the states in the north center, and also the one in Makurdi we also take care of some of the needs also in the middle belt area, and of course the one in Benin City we also see to the affairs of the Niger Delta area. So which means the control of Nigeria's military, each of the geopolitical zones are basically almost having like two commands. So which means response, even their presence alone does a lot of good to us. And we are not just taking lean the current numbers of soldiers we have, we are now also expanding their numbers so that we can send them to all these areas. And of course, since Goodluck Jonathan's time, Baba Buhari's time, now Tinubu's time, we've been spending the highest quota of our budget has been on military, which is unfortunate, but it's a reality we currently have. So this, in estimation, I've even heard people that don't like Tinubu's administration. Some of them have said this is one of the best steps he has taken to address insecurity. Now we are having NIMS, where all our identity is aggregated on just one platform database. That is supposed to help us with insecurity. We have the proposition of the state police. So that also is also expected to also help us in terms of our security. Now that we are also now having from our 8 divisions to 12 divisions, and also employing 28,000 new
Saheed,
military
I
people.
think we'll come back to
Yeah.
expand on that and even talk about maybe the equipping of the military personnel,
Okay.
looking at their welfare and other ammunition stuffs. But let me hear Mr. Talub opinion on the same matter. What does this mean for Nigeria as a nation?
For me, I think it's a welcome development. It has been in the news for a very long time that our military personnel operations need to be decentralized. The wave of insecurity that we have in this country now, and with the numbers that Madam Saheed just quoted about the Nigerian population, it shows that we need to upgrade and also innovate the way our military operates and also react to insurgencies. So with the new expansion from 8 to 12, I believe that, like he actually said, that almost like each region has 2 divisions. So that will disescalate immediate reactions in case there is need for any insurgency, any part of the country. And I think this will also help the military to be able to reduce their response time in case there is any need for interventions in the part of the country. So for me, it's a welcome development, and the president needs to be applauded for this. However, the issue is you can create a policy, and that is implementations. We've seen over times where this government will make some pronouncement, but unfortunately, the implementation will be that slow. We could recall that also he has approved the improved military welfare since March, and with the news that we are getting around, although it's not official, we believe that we had that this welfare package has not been implemented. So it's another thing, you create a policy, another thing is to see to it that that policy became materialized. So I just pray that this particular one that President has announced will be materialized in time.
And probably just to add to it, one of the good things here is, of course, we were fighting a war of Boko Haram, ISWAP, terrorism in Northeast. And later on, our problem cascaded to Northwest, Zamfara being the headquarters of banditry in the country. Then later on, it came to Kwara State, Niger State, or all other states. Having now two divisions in these geopolitical safe zones simply means there is no safe haven for criminals anywhere, most especially for bandits and terrorists. And it was said by the report from the American support with Nigeria's army in the fight against insurgency that the weapons they were able to mock up in Nigeria within the time they've spent, they've never seen those kind except since 9/11 in the United States, which means there is a serious proliferation of illegal weapons in the country, and this is spread across all the 6 geopolitical zones, all the states. So we also need, our problem is ambitious, so our response to it also demands ambition.
Yes. Mr. Saheed, let's come back to our earlier discussion. Of course, the manpower issue, maybe the need to increase the number of the military personnel is an issue, which unfortunately now the president is bringing or has already approved, taking some major issues that will see an end, maybe or started the journey to seeing an end to that. Let's talk about maybe equipping the military personnel with ammunition and also looking at their welfare package. Some people are saying maybe if we are really serious about the issue of the security, is something that also we need to put in consideration. What do you think the presidency should do on that?
Yeah, I think Mr. Talub mentioned, there's an improved welfare policy they brought up in some months ago. I will also encourage the president to see to the implementation of that. The military needs to be paid more, even though they are currently taking the highest from our budget as we have. But the reality is, if you have insecurity, there's no other sector that will even flourish. So which means we need to do whatever it takes. One of the biggest problems I think this administration has faced is backlogs, pensioners, even salary payment in arrears, allowances. And I think they've been taking intentional decision to clear some of those things so that they can stabilize, then they can expand. I hope this is what is in their head, what they are planning. But in a situation where you have a military master receiving 100,000, 120,000, with the kind of work they do, if you sit with a soldier that has been to Borno, that has worked in any of the cantonments in those places, if they narrate what they've experienced, you will see that the sacrifice they made in a day or two is even more than the sacrifice most of us make even in a year. One of them was telling me that when Boko Haram was at its peak, he was there. He did not take his bath for more than 1 month. Even his shoe, he did not remove his shoe, because at any time they could unleash on them day to day. So it is not the kind of sacrifices we make. And people on social media too, I think we should also respect the sacrifices these people make. And we should speak better of them than just to run them down. But their remuneration, weapons, I am sure they are well being. Even there are some fighter helicopters that the president is purchasing up to the tune of $1 billion.
Yes.
That they are purchasing some of them. So our problem is ambitious, and our response to that ambitious problem must also be ambitious in terms of more recruitment, in terms of welfare, in terms of ammunition, in terms of mindset, in terms of even when we lose soldiers, what are the welfare packages for their family? All those things we need to put into consideration and make sure that we give them the best so that they can make us feel safe.
Also, just kind of a closing remarks on this topic. I think also, just like in any other sector, Nigeria have been facing corruption, and military also is not left behind in that. There have been issues of poor remuneration that has got the attention of the National Assembly, and I could recall that a particular senator had wanted to call the attention of the National Assembly into the investigation of military on how they are spending, because of course Nigeria every year budget, their expenses, their budget take a very largest chunk of the budget. Unfortunately, the result has never been commensurate with the cost. So I believe that until the money budgeted for the military trickle down to the personnel is very, very important, because if the top echelon are the one, so to speak, maybe mismanaged, let's use that word, the fund, and it's not really trickle down to the people that the money is intended to for, like the soldiers, like the naval guys and all that stuff. So our war against the insurgency will never be won. We've heard several times when people said that even these bandit Boko Haram are more motivated than Nigerian military. So that needs to be addressed.
That's great. Any closing remark on this topic, Mr.
Saheed? There's no bigger sacrifice we can make for our safety. We should go all the way to keep ourselves secured.
Yes. So we are going to our second story of the day, which is Amina J. Mohammed for UN Secretary General. Will Nigeria put her forward to make history? As the United Nations prepares for a new Secretary General to succeed Antonio Guterres, attention is turning to the possibility of Nigeria putting forward Amina J. Mohammed, the current UN Deputy Secretary General. Amina Mohammed has served as UN Deputy Secretary General since 2017 and played a key role in the development of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals. Before, she served as a Nigerian Minister of Environment and worked on development and poverty reduction initiatives. However, the key question is whether the Nigerian government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will formally nominate her and mobilize the diplomatic support needed to secure the position. The possibility also raises questions about whether African countries can unite behind an experienced African woman for one of the world's most influential diplomatic position. Mr. Saheed, as the UN election is coming closer, Nigerians have been raising questions, let me say African in general. Will Nigeria put Amina J. Mohammed forward for the UN Secretary General position?
Thank you very much. In terms of the presence of countries, United Nations is seen as the country with the highest membership in the world, having 196 countries as their members. I think the second one is OIC, Organization of Islamic Cooperation, headquartered in Turkey. So this is the second, but the first, which has a membership of 196 countries across the world, to head that diplomatic body is one of the biggest things Nigeria can have. And there's no Nigerian that has ever had the chance or the opportunity to take up that position. Amina J. Mohammed, she's both a Nigerian and also a Briton. And she has worked as a minister here in Nigeria, and she has also been the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. And basically, she was in charge of the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. And so she has the requisite experience, she has the knowledge, she has the appeal So currently, the World Trade Organization is currently being managed also by a former minister, coordinating minister of the economy, Okonjo-Iweala. And if a Nigerian also gets the chance of also becoming the United Nations Secretary General, that will put Nigeria on a different map in the world, and people will recognize that Nigerians can achieve almost anything. But this cannot be done if the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not see this as a priority. If they decide it's a priority and they go for it, currently there are 6 contenders for the position. 4 of them are women, 2 of them are men. So there's a likelihood, which means even as we speak, there's a 20-something percent, 20% likelihood or 18% chance that the next Secretary General of the United Nations will be a woman. So if Amina Mohammed joins the race, then she will be the 7th, making 5 ladies and 2 men. And she has the experience, she has the knowledge, and she's 65 years old. So she's still young in mind, as Ford would say that.
That's great. Mr. Talub, let's talk about maybe the diplomatic lobby. Even if Nigerian government, maybe under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is to put Amina Mohammed forward, Nigeria still needs to lobby, maybe internally here in Africa first, to rally there, to have the support of the African countries. Though some of the African countries have already maybe rendered their support to some of the already candidates they are now in the contention officially. How do you think? Do you think like maybe the Nigerian government under President Ahmed Tinubu has that prestige to be able to have the support of the African Union, like that's the African Union behind it?
Yeah, I think if Nigerian rally supports for a candidate, I think we still have the mojo to rally around all other African countries rally around our candidacy. So the first thing that we need to do first of all is that Amina first of all needs to, I could see from the history that if any Nigerians is going for this world top position like this, the candidate first of all need to see the president. I could recall the Femi Adesina when he wanted to head Cultural Development Bank in Nigeria. I mean, then during the time of Goodluck Jonathan or so, she came and meet the president when he's going for the second time as well, during the time of Buhari. So he came and met the president. Also during the time of Okonjo-Iweala wanted to run for World Trade Organization as well. She did the same thing to come and meet President Buhari at that time. So I think Amina needs to first of all signify her interest. It has to let Nigeria government know that, oh, I'm in the race and I'm interested in this. So after that, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu know what to do at region level by meeting the fellow of the African country, because the way it is now, we only have one African man, which is former president of Senegal, that is running for that particular position now. So, and now that we see that UN, as it is now, they are moving towards their bias towards the women candidates. I think the race is still open for Nigeria.
Okay, that's great. Mr. Saheed, let's look at the bigger picture. Maybe before someone emerge as the UN Secretary General, it's a process that has some series of maybe it's something that you have to follow step by step. There are a series of process. The most crucial of them all is being able to have the support of the UN Security Council. In that UN Security Council, there are permanent members that include United States of America, the United Kingdom, then Russia, France, and which other one country? Germany. So, do you think and these 5 permanent members, they have to veto you before you can emerge? Maybe like failing to have a support of one of them automatically means that you are disqualified. So do you think will Nigeria be able, even if Amina J Mohammed is put forward, like will they be able to have the support of this maybe the support of these 5 nations, looking at the diplomatic situations are currently unfolding in the geopolitics?
Yeah, it's about lobbying. It's about lobbying. There was a time Donald Trump said he was coming to Nigeria gun blazing, and now he's writing us letters of credence. So it's all about lobbying. Even the General Assembly also needs to approve you. Then Security Council needs to approve you. And the Security Council, the way they've given themselves power, is just like it said in the book that all animals are equal, but some are more equal than the other. So if you get to the General Assembly, then if there's no objection from any of the members of the permanent members of the Security Council, which is the highest organ in the United Nations, then you become the Secretary General. So it is about your past, it's about your prestige, it's about what you stand for, it's about your experience, it's about the interest of all of these countries also. United States has withdrawn most of its support for United Nations, including so many of the humanitarian needs of the world that they've been spending on to Donald Trump's foreign policies. A lot of them have been removed. But of course, Donald Trump will still want to trump even the leadership of the United Nations. So I think it's about lobbying, it's about selling your candidates, it's about doing the work it takes and knowing that this is a serious business. If they are able to run it, then we wish Amina all the best.
Okay. Now that there is an African already in the race, do you think Nigeria should also go forward and present someone, or African countries should all come together and rally behind one candidate?
Well, if we have different aspirants or contenders within Africa, it would be good for Africa to front with one person. Having a united front is always better, and Africa has the highest number of countries in the world. The African continent, even though it's the second largest continent in the world, both by landmass and also by population. So if we, even in the World Cup, out of the 48 countries, Africa had 10 countries out of those 48 countries that qualified for the World Cup. So yeah, Africa has a stake, and if we have a single front, it will also be better for us. So the former Senegalese president is already in the race. If Amina comes, if both of them are able to reach a compromise, then that's fine and good. But also put in mind, in every 5 African, there is one Nigerian. So if you are just mentioning countries, Nigeria is not just merely a country in Africa. Nigeria is 1/5 of the entire African continent.
That's when we're talking about maybe the population, but the representatives are there. I think they all have equal representatives at the United Nations. Yes. And that's what matters.
So which also means that even when the international countries deal with these specific countries, it also matters. How big are you? What's your economy size? Who are you? So if Antonio Guterres, I think is a Mexican, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Mexican, they have border with the United States. They won't just put the United Nations Secretary General in one small negligible country. They want it to come from a country with prestige, a country that also deserves respect even globally. They won't put that the Secretary General of that body in one small country.
So, Mr. Talub, what will be your take on the same question?
For me, I think I wanted to look at it from what Africa stands to gain, Nigeria and Africa stands to gain from a candidate. It has been for some time now that Africa have been pushing for a permanent member of Security Council of UN, and having Amina Mohammed as UN Secretary General, I think that will help Nigeria, the African, to achieve that particular quest. I think Nigeria particularly have been the one in front. And if you look at her, she has been a very decent woman. There's no scandals of anything about her. In fact, she has been around since the time of Kofi Annan. She served as a special assistant to the then General Secretary. And also, you will recall that it's even the current UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, that himself called President Buhari yes. personally to send that to UN. Yes. So I think if you look at our credibility, our competence, our achievements, so even all in Africa, compared to all their candidates that also shown interest as well, I think she has a very good stand to become the next UN Secretary General. The only issue is just that how Nigeria positioning a candidate, because we knew that there are some 5 dogs in the house that you actually mentioned, US, Britain, and stuff like that. So actually, United States of America, they still have a very strong even in UN decision making. We've seen what plays out between Israel and Palestine. Many times when the General Assembly voted, only US veto alone will just dismantle the whole thing. So I think Nigeria need to really engage United States of America and what they stand to gain as well, so that Trump will not feel threatened and just condemn or whatever or destroy our candidates.
Yes. Mr. Saheed, any final take on this?
Yeah, so we wish her all the best if she wants to contend, but our candidacy will also bring brightness to Nigeria. So we wish her all the best.
This is the end of our issues of the day, where we have a very engaging stories with my 2 guests, Mr. Saheed Ayegboka and Talub Amole. All thanks to them.
Thanks.
For more details, subscribe to Citizen TV on Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and TikTok for more news, analysis, and in-depth discussion. I am Usman Abdulkadir Taleeki, and have a lovely day. Thank you.